So, welcome to day 3 of the Red Letter Revolution. And today we're going to talk about some of Jesus' teachings on oaths, revenge, and love for enemies. And this is coming from Matthew 5:31 to 48. And some of these scripture passages I know, I'll just tell you right now, I'm divorced. So the scripture passage I'm about to read, I'm divorced and remarried, but the scripture passage I'm about to read could really strike at the heart if I were going to be operating from guilt and shame, which a lot of these scriptures are used by, I would say, irresponsible people to invoke shame and guilt and things like that. But there's more to it that I would love to explore with y'all today. So hopefully you'll get this. And I'm trying to read from an actual paper Bible just for, I don't know, authenticity. And it brings me back to when I was a kid, when I used to read from a paper Bible. I may squint sometimes because it's hard to read with these little teeny writing. But I'm going to read it because I just want to feel the book in my hand, the weight of it, the feel of it. And if you do have a paper Bible, I invite you, if you're going to go over these scripture passages, to just grab like a hard physical copy that you can feel the weight of it and kind of allow that to be a moment of mindfulness as you engage the scriptures. So here we go. Excuse me. I have to pause because this is real time and I'm not editing these videos. I'd already turned the page and now I'm back. All right. So furthermore, it has been said, whoever divorces his wife or her husband, let him give her or him a certificate of divorce. But I say to you, whoever divorces his wife for any reason except sexual immorality causes her to commit adultery. And whoever marries a woman who is divorced commits adultery. Again, you have heard that it was said to those of old, you shall not swear falsely, but you shall perform your oaths to the Lord. But I say to you, do not swear at all, neither by heaven, for it is God's throne, nor by the earth, for it is God's footstool, nor by Jerusalem, for it is the city of the great king. Nor shall you swear by your head, because you cannot make one hair white or black. But let your yes be yes and your no, no. For whatever is more than these is from the evil one. You've heard that it was said, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. But I tell you not to resist an evil person. But whoever slaps you on your right cheek, turn to the other to them also. If anyone wants to sue you and take away your tunic, let them have your cloak also. And whoever compels you to go 1 mile, go with them 2. Give to them who ask you, and from them who wants to borrow from you, do not turn away. Or borrow from you, do not turn away. You have heard that it was said, you shall love your neighbor and hate your enemy. But I say to you, love your enemies, bless those who curse you, do good to those who hate you, and pray for those who spitefully use you and persecute you, that you may be children of your Creator in heaven. For God makes God's sun rise on the evil and on the good, and sends rain to the just and on the unjust. For if you love those who love you, what reward have you? Do not even the tax collectors do the same? And if you greet your brethren only, what do you do more than others? Do not even the tax collectors do so? Therefore, you shall be perfect, just as your Creator in heaven is perfect. So, check this out, right? When you read this, I will not believe you if you said this was easy. None of this is easy, but that's the point. Jesus is saying multiple things in this little passage. One, he's bringing up marriage and then making oaths. And then he says, like, don't do it. Don't make oaths. Don't make promises. And then he says, let your yes be yes and let your no be no. Turn the other cheek. Love your enemies. All of these things are again talking about the spiritual import, again talking about how difficult it is, because it's so crazy how much we judge each other, which Jesus gets into when we look at the scriptures the way he's presenting his interpretation, saying it was said this, but I'm saying this. He's making it harder on purpose, showing us, hey man, you cannot keep up with the perfection of God, yada, yada, yada. But at the end, it says, be perfect just like your creator is perfect. Now, why would he set someone up to fail like that? But here's the thing. When you realize how challenging it is to live from this space, and you come from this space of humility, and you have this command of being perfect, even as your creator is perfect, what ends up happening is you realize the import of grace. You realize that any good that you can do, that you actually are able to pull off in this complex world where there's so much drama and so many things, anything that you can do to pull off, to keep your promises, to keep your oaths, to let your yes be yes and let your no be no, all those things, it's a miracle that any good gets done in this world. And that, to me, is liberating, because and it's not an excuse. What happens with a lot of us is we figure, hey, I can't pull this off, I might as well not even try. Or we do this kind of like whataboutism, like, oh, well, I might be like this, but that person's like that. Jesus is trying to get us out of that mindset completely. Drop it, because you're going to fail. But the good news is, whenever you succeed, is some grace. And that spirit of what we call perfection, but the word that is translated as perfection is maturity, is actually saying be mature even as your creator in heaven is mature. When we get to that place of maturity and we understand the challenges of being human, how hard it is, why we can't judge other people, why even in our best days, when we try to do our best, we inadvertently break our promises. We inadvertently, if you use the whole thing of like, if you look at somebody with lust, then you've already cheated, or if you hate somebody, then you're a murderer. It's keeping you mindful that the same stuff that you see in the worst person is also in you. But this grace and this understanding that actually takes the pressure off, even though it seems like it makes us feel more pressure, takes the pressure off of knowing that you have to depend on the creator to be able to even do a little bit of this. And once you start to realize that, and realize your dependency on the creator, and realize that everybody's struggling, and realize that the people that you might put up on a high pedestal, they're struggling just as much, and the people that you look down on may be doing way better than you when it comes to living according to the teachings of love, it's very humbling. And it creates this situation where you get to see how, if we just allow ourselves to understand that each and every one of us humans is in a position to fail on a moment by moment basis, but every time you do the right thing, every time you show love, every time you forgive, every time you make a mistake and you allow yourself to be forgiven, all of that is grace, and it's accessible. It's accessible, but it's only accessible if you can extend it to other people, that you can understand the struggle that we're all in, and that you can live from a place of being, I guess I'm going to say the word in love, but not in love like, oh, romantic, but dwelling in love with your fellow human beings. And Jesus, even though it seems like he's making things harder, he's actually making it easier, because he's helping us see the struggle that we're all in. So as you go through these passages, reflect on them. Think about times in your life where you tried to be the best person and you just made a mistake, or you failed in ways that you think are like, oh, well, it's not that big a deal. In the grand schemes, or maybe it isn't, but just realizing that that's a part of being human, but that grace is also a part of it as well. And that perfection, or that maturity that you're being called to, it comes through making mistakes. That's why I often say to my children, we make mistakes, but it's okay, because we get better every day. So allow yourself to live, to learn, to do your best, make mistakes, grow, move through it, and keep being a recipient of grace, and keep extending grace, and realizing that being human is hard, and nobody knows that more than Jesus. So hopefully you get something out of this. Looking forward to tomorrow. Feel free to share this video or this lesson with others who you think might need to engage, or may want to engage more deeply with this material. And for those of you who are interested in meeting up online, we're going to be meeting on Thursdays at 5 p.m. Mountain Time. And in order to join us, you're going to have to go to therooflesschurch.com/RLR for Red Letter Revolution. And there's a link at the bottom for you to fill out a survey sort of thing. And I'll get your email from there and send you the Zoom link. So Thanks. Bye.